First Nations people in pop culture is kind of a fascinating thing because when I was a kid, I was taught that I'm First Nations, that I belonged to Skateen Nations. And I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. But when I started to try to find First Nations peoples in video games, in movies, and TV, you would only really find these ridiculous caricatures. A lot of the times, First Nations people, they're in art and they're in media, but they don't get a chance to control it, to create the story themselves. Chee'ilth is the newest superhero coming to Marvel Contest of Champions. She's different because she's a First Nations hero, and she's created by a team of First Nations people. The way that Chee'ilth gains her superpowers, there's this attack on her small town. There's a nuclear reactor that goes down, and it sort of creates this big wave of gamma mutates. Think Hulk, Abomination, those sort of monstrosities. And they start rampaging through the town, they start hurting people. And so Chee'ilth goes to rescue her abusive father from these gamma mutates. And these two spirits are looking on, Brother Grizzly and Sister Eagle, and they decide to bestow their power on her because she shows the sort of courage and honor that they're looking for. Brother Grizzly is the warrior spirit. He's all about combat and sharing that combat knowledge. And Sister Eagle is the healer. She's known for drawing out sicknesses and curses. And so they kind of work as a pair to try and save the gamma mutates, effectively from themselves. The biggest thing about working with Marvel that surprised me was their excitement about the idea. They want this character to exist. They want diversity and inclusiveness to be a major focus for them. Let's get the cultural experts in. Let's make sure we're doing this correctly. And let's make sure we knock it out of the park. Chee'ilth was a victim of the 60s scoop, and it was there that she experienced abuse and neglect. And that's a real central part of the story.
The 60s scoop was when the government took Indigenous children away from their families and their culture and placed them in foster care. I was adopted into a Canadian-German Mennonite family, taken away from my culture and my family, and to this day I don't know who my family is.
When we started to look at the character, we wanted to design some unique tattoos for her that really represented her area, her culture, everything. Austin Harry, he is an extremely talented First Nations artist and specifically a digital artist. So he designed the tattoos. He did the tattoo design for both Brother Grizzly and Sister Eagle that you see on Chee'ilth's arms. And he actually painted over the designs of them so that they had these very traditional shapes and these very traditional poses when they're hitting their big action moments. And we can really show off not just the character, but the art style as well.
The symbology of animals is used to kind of convey your history and your past and your ties to your family. So I have the image of Sister Eagle diving into the water with her talons to pluck a salmon. I wanted the tattoo for Brother Grizzly to represent strength and might. So I depicted a hearth, fire, to represent that strong energy. I also depicted the sun with a bear paw on the joint of the arm, and then I worked the design from Brother Grizzly into Chee'ilth's arm to show that Brother Grizzly is like offering her his strength.
When I saw the character design and took into consideration that they would be a warrior fighting and protecting for their people, I recommended that they add in a knife as a weapon, and typically knives are carried in a sheath on their back, and so they would have it on the side of their dominant hand. Some of the other feedback that I offered, when I was growing up, you would see Indigenous people adding their own artwork to their clothing, painting, beading, adding fur and adding fringe, and gave all of the different mediums that were traditional and authentic to where I'm from.
I don't know if it'd be possible for me to be more proud of an artistic achievement. It's amazing. It's genuinely a bucket list sort of achievement, If I could go back in time and tell 5-year-old Justin, who's recently become obsessed with video games, that not only will he be making video games one day, but he'll be making superhero video games and getting to make the superheroes, I mean, you can't even imagine what that would be like as a kid, let alone getting to do it every single day.
I think the character turned out really well. She looks really powerful and very much like a warrior would be, and it's just really great to see all of those elements coming together.
To have a character that's standing next to such huge icons as the ones in the Marvel universe is just, it's such an honor to be able to say that I was part of that.
We've put an enormous amount of effort and work into making sure that she's not just authentic, but also fun and exciting and interesting. I'm hoping that they'll see the effort that we put in and be excited for the character and want to see more of the character.